Hello everyone, myself Dr. Kalidasan, working as an assistant professor in PG and Research Department of Chemistry, AVS College of Arts and Science, Salem. Today I am going to discuss about an important topic in inorganic chemistry for PG level. So chemistry of coordination compounds we are going to see. These are the nomenclature of coordination compounds and the IUPAC name term, whatever they have given for the certain number of complexes, or how we can name as per the ligand and metal wise. And this is the general table column for the ligand as well as the corresponding complexes, how it can be named. So that they have given. The basic protocol in coordination nomenclature is to name the ligands first, whatever it is attached to the metal, followed by its metal. So first we have to name the ligand as per the IUPAC nomenclature, then followed by the metal. So this is the common example for this, one of the simple example for this coordination compound. This is a nickel complex they have given, hexamine nickel 2 chloride. So 6 number of amine, so that is hexa and nickel and 2 chloride. So this is the kind of nomenclature provided by the IUPAC, whatever they are following for all kind of complexes. But and also in the case of ionic compounds, how it can be named. So the cation is named first, followed by the anion. So this is a common example. Platinum complexes they have given. So this is K2 PTCl6. How we can name this one? Potassium. First we have to name the cation. So potassium hexachloroplatinate 4. Hexachloroplatinate 4 on the oxidation state 4. So this is the common naming for the IUPAC nomenclature, the standard procedure given for the complexes as well as the ionic compounds. So ligands can be named are named as first the negative one, then the neutral without the separation of hyphen. So why they have mentioned this one without separation of hyphen? The hyphen, full stop, comma, whatever the marks should not be included while naming the complexes or ionic compounds in coordination chemistry. So that's what they are depicting this. They are implying here. We should not use any hyphen or full stop. So this is the example. So this is the potassium trioxalo aluminate 3 complexes, and this is the dichloropeace ethylene diamine cobalt 2 sulfate complexes. So here how they have named this kind of complexes they have mentioned here. So what is, if ligands have simple names such as chloro, bromo, nitro, etc., their number is indicated prefixes such as di, tri, tetra, penta, etc. So we have to number like this. Di means 2 and 3, 4 like this. So we have to order, take the order in this way. So that's what they have mentioned this one. And also if they have complex name, their number is indicated by prefixes. It should be indicated by the prefix. That is, we have to mention it like bis, tris and tetricus, and we have to mention like this with the increasing number of the coordination numbers. So how the anionic complex can be made? So it should be ended in 8. The complex name should be ended in 8TE. That's what they have mentioned here. So here the platinum complex they are given. How we can name this kind of complex in by using this kind of rule? Potassium pentachloro and amine platinate 4 ATE. So this kind of complex naming the as per the IUPAC naming, so it should be end in the ATE form. So this kind of the nomenclature also they have been followed. So and also for cationic and neutral complexes, how we can name? The name of the metal is used without any characteristic ending. So that's what they are indicating here. So neutral ligands are not changed. So this is a common example. Ion complexes they have given. And here how the cation and anion, how it is varying, they are given in the simple table column. So this is the sodium, some molybdenum, some kind of complexes, and here how they are mentioning as per the IUPAC nomenclature with respect to the presence of cation and anion. So how, and next one is the oxidation state. How the oxidation state of a metal is listed as a Roman numeral. So while naming the complexes using this IUPAC form, so the naming the oxidation state of the metal should be mentioned as a Roman numeral in the parenthesis. Parenthesis means just they are indicating this kind of bracket. That's what they are indicating, this kind of parenthesis immediately after the name of the metal. So here the example they have given for the platinum complex. So how they are naming this kind of complex? Dichloro diamine platinum 2 complex. So whatever they have given the parenthesis, that condition they were given at the end of the complex. So these are all the common example. Other zero oxidation state and how they are naming, and for a negative oxidation state how they are naming. So how this kind of trend is following for the as per the IUPAC standard nomenclature. So the different oxidation states and d orbital occupancy of the period of 4 transition elements, and this is the tabular column they have given for the different oxidation state and their corresponding the metal ions. These are all the metal ions for the these are all the d block elements, the scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc. So how their configuration is varying with respect to the oxidation state and how they are forming the complexes, that also they have mentioned. So many different oxidation states are possible in the case of for this kind of the transition metals or complexes, whatever may be. So +2 oxidation state is common to most transition metals. So and also we are unable to see, we can be able to see that most of the d block that transition metals and whatever the complexes they are having, they possess most of the common oxidation state, that is +2. This is a spectrochemical series. How it tells about the strength of ligand interaction. Ligand interaction means with metal while forming the complexes, how it is getting interacted with the metal. So this is the series, common series. With respect to this, the coordination chemistry of this kind of complexes can be explained. So this is the series they have given, and these are all the energy level diagram for the different complexes and how the complexes are behavior and how the physical appearance. Physical appearance means how the color of the complexes is changes depending upon the number of ligands, as well as this mentioned here, the increasing delta with respect to the energy, how the variation of color is happening. So here for the same metal, chromium and different complexes, how the different colors are varying. So here we can see green color for this kind of one, and violet, yellow for these 3 kind of complexes. So we can see that with respect to the increasing delta as well as the number of ligands and the main and with respect to the metal atom, how the color changing is happening, that's we can able to explain from this one. So high spin and low spin complexes, ions of Mn2+. Here we can see the weak field means high spin complex and strong field means low spin. We can remember like this, very easy to remember. If it is weak field means high spin, and in the same kind strong field means low spin complexes. And these are all the different examples for manganese ion they have given. So for no field, this kind of maximum number of unpaired electrons, and weak field how it is getting varied, and strong field how it is getting varied. So these are all the normal depiction for this kind, for the kind of complexes which are having high spin as well as the low spin character. So next one, the same, the different complexes of manganese as well as iron complexes, how it is varying with respect to the high spin as well as the low spin. And here are these are all the depiction of this the presence of the orbitals with respect to this metal atom, that is the iron as well as manganese. And here we can see how the variation of the filling of the orbitals is happening here, and how the variation of the color was happening, that also we can explain. So why coordination compounds having color? In the previous slides I have told about some with respect to the number of ligands as well as the difference in delta, the color changes is happening. So why these kind of color changes is happening? So the colors exhibited by most of the transition metal complexes are partly filled d orbital arises from the splitting of d orbitals. That means the splitting of d orbitals is happening while the formation of complex between the metal as well as the ligand. So in that case, the electrons absorb light some certain kind of wavelength. The wavelength means from this we can see that the UV visible spectrum, the UV to visible, so different wavelength ranges are there. So some particular metal complexes can able to absorb some particular kind of wavelength. So by doing so, then the corresponding color only can emitted as a the color only emitted as a physical appearance for the complexes. So that's what they are mentioning here. So with respect to the wavelength, the formation of the complex as well as its corresponding color can be varying, and it can be noted. So color of the complex, this is the example they have given for a titanium complex. Here we can see and how it is varying. That is how the complex is getting the incoming radiation, and while outgoing the radiation, that means the transmitted light, how it is giving the variation of color. So that's what they have depicted here as a simple figure. And since the spectrum of titanium complex has a maximum absorption at 510 nanometer, so 510 nanometer in the UV spectrum is around green and yellow range after UV light. That means before IR, after UV light. So this is the range for this 510 nanometer, and it transmits all the wavelength. The complex is purple. So the final output color, whatever the transmitted light gives the purple color. So that's what we have seen the complex as a color in violet color. So these are all the simple example for the colors of different compounds, how the complexes, coordination complexes are giving the colors. And here we can see the normal metal oxides. Titanium dioxide is white in color, and scandium oxide, it's white in color. The vanadium sulfate dihydrate, so this light blue color. So these are all the different colors. This we can see the different colors of the different complexes. This is for potassium ferricyanide, and this is for manganese complex, some kind of complex, and this is for copper 2 sulfate pentahydrate, and this is for cobalt complexes. So the nickel 2 nitrate hexagonate, the green color. So copper, nickel, and cobalt these are all the three most different colors that we can able to easily identify whether it is a cobalt complex or copper or nickel. That this is the only way we can. This is the nice and easy way to understand the coloring of the complexes, how it is behaving with respect to the coordination number, that is the ligands. So this is the different colored solutions of the complexes, we can say. So these are all the solutions taken in the SM of 100 ml SM of, I think so. So these are all the different kind of solutions, and we're having the different complexes. So here the first one is cyanide complex, nitro, phenylene, and ethylene, and amine, the GLY glycol kind of complex, glycine kind of complexes, and water and carbonate complexes, and how here we can able to see the difference in the colors of the difference in the coordination compounds as well with respect to the metal as well as the ligand. So color, how the color of object, we are seeing that that they have given us a simple definition, nothing else one. And this is the overall that pie diagram, we can say the how the different colors of the different wavelength regions. So these are all the wavelength regions and the corresponding colors they have given with respect to the violet means violet they have given. So this is the easiest way we can able to identify the wavelength of the radiation with respect to the color. So this is the relation between this one. And white reflection. White means the reflection of all colors. The reflection means whatever the complex is getting the observed light and the reflection of the light. So that reflection only we are seeing as a physical appearance of the complex. So that's what they are indicating here. And isomers. Now isomers is different types of isomers. We can say, so in the case of our coordination chemistry complexes, so isomers means same formula under different properties. So there are two type of isomers, the structural isomers as well as the stereoisomers. So what are the structural isomers? Coordination sphere isomers and linkage isomers. And here also geometric as well as optical isomers are the classification from stereoisomers. So what are isomers? Have the same molecular formula but different atoms are arranged either in a different order, that is structurally different, or spatial arrangement, that means the stereo arrangement, the different spatial arrangement in space in one position and two position, and it is alternatively they'll get arrangement while getting transformed into other configurations. So that's what they are indicating as a spatial arrangement. So structural isomerism, here they have given the small examples for the for structural isomerism: pentane, isopentane, neopentane, and these are all the different isomers for the structural isomerism: skeletal, position, as well as the functional isomerism. So what is skeletal isomerism? So the skeleton are distinctly reordered to create the different structures. So in order to create the different structure, they are getting reordered. That means in the case of complexes. So here they have given for the two kinds of this is the simple example for this kind of skeletal isomerism. Then position isomerism. The position isomerism, in this one we can see that the functional group or other substitution changes position on a parent structure. So then only we can get the position isomerism. Here we can see the simple example. We can see this 1 pentanol, 2 pentanol, and 3 pentanol. Here the hydroxyl groups OH is getting changed in other two structures. In this structure it is getting placed in this place, and here it is in the next place, and here it is in the other place. So this kind of arrangement and this kind of arrangement of this particular OH group, that then we can say this kind of isomerism is a position isomerism, and these are all the common examples for this kind of position isomerism. So functional isomerism, here the functional groups and two compounds with the same molecular formula but different functional groups. This is the functional isomerism. Example is one hexene and cyclohexene. Here we can see it as a simple example for this kind of functional isomerism. Then coordination isomers. Coordination isomers are the two or more coordination compounds in which the composition with the coordination pair is different. So this is they are saying as a concept for coordination isomerism, and these are all the common three common example for they are taken as a chromate complexes for and these are all the three different isomers and three different isomers as well as the different colors they are giving. So this is the example for coordination isomerism. So linkage isomerism. So linkage means this happens when a particular ligand is capable of coordinating to a metal in two different metal or two different ways. So this is the linkage isomerism, and this is the nitro isomer of this compound, particular compound of this cobalt complex. This is the nitrito. The variation in linkage and variation in the color as well as we are getting. So here in a dark color and light color, but the same complexes with respect to the linkage isomerism. So stereoisomers. Stereoisomers, the position of the attachment of ligands they are talking about, and the position of these in a complexes. So that's what they are saying about this kind of complex as a stereoisomer. This is the common complex, the cobalt complex. The enantiomers. The enantiomers we can see as if you are taking common example as taking the mirror image of our hand, right hand or left hand. So it was looked at as a left hand when we are taking for the right hand. So this is the common example, and this is the common example for they are taken as a cobalt complex. How they are the mirror image is behaving. So this kind of complexes we can say it as a enantiomer. So diastereomers with more chiral centers and also non-mirror image isomers, and these are all the examples for they have taken as a tartaric acid and mesotartaric acid. Then geometrical isomers. The geometrical isomers they have explained by using the cisplatin complex, cisplatin as well as the transplatin complex, where the position of this the ligand with respect to metal atom has been varied. So this kind of isomerism can be explained using this kind of cisplatin and transplatin. So final one is conformational isomerism. Conformational isomers, it is a form of isomerism that have same structural formula but different shapes due to rotation about one or more bonds, and different concentration can be different energies, and for this they have taken as an example cyclohexane in chair and boat conformation. This is the chair conformation for cyclohexane, and this is the boat conformation for cyclohexane. So this is the conformational isomerism. Thank you.